What if the most terrifying sounds in human history aren't screams of war, but the gentle notes of ancient trumpets that will one day reshape reality itself? In the next 15 minutes, you'll discover what these apocalypse trumpets really mean, why they're not what most people think, and the surprising message of hope hidden within their ancient echoes. By the end, you'll understand a mystery that's been sealed for 2,000 years. The book of Revelation speaks of 7 trumpets that will herald the end of the world as we know it. But here's what centuries of fearful interpretation have missed. These aren't instruments of destruction, they're instruments of awakening. Tonight, we're going to explore 4 profound truths about these mystical trumpets. First, we'll uncover their true purpose in God's cosmic symphony. Then, we'll examine what each trumpet call actually represents in your spiritual journey. Next, we'll discover how these ancient sounds connect to the awakening happening in our world right now. And finally, we'll explore how you can tune your heart to hear their call. This isn't about fear or judgment. It's about understanding the most beautiful wake-up call in human history. Section 1. The Symphony of Transformation. What if I told you that the word trumpet in the original Greek doesn't mean what you think it means? The word is salpinx, and it wasn't just an instrument of war. In ancient times, the salpinx announced the arrival of kings, proclaimed freedom to slaves, and called people to celebration. When John wrote Revelation, he chose this word deliberately. The first 4 trumpets describe natural upheavals, but look closer. 1/3 of the earth burns, 1/3 of the sea turns to blood, 1/3 of the stars fall. Why 1/3? Because even in judgment, God preserves. Even in chaos, mercy remains. These aren't random catastrophes, they're birth pangs. They're the sound of an old world dying so a new one can be born. Think about your own life. Haven't your greatest transformations come through seasons that felt like everything was falling apart? The trumpets aren't God's anger, they're His invitation to let go of what's dying so you can embrace what's being born. But here's where it gets really interesting. The last 3 trumpets are different. They're called woes, and they're not about the earth at all. Section 2. The Interior Earthquake. The 5th trumpet opens what Revelation calls the bottomless pit. But what if this isn't a physical place? In ancient Hebrew thought, the abyss represented the realm of unconscious chaos, the parts of ourselves we've buried, denied, or refused to face. The 5th trumpet isn't about demons being released into the world. It's about the buried shadows in human consciousness finally rising to the surface. Look around. Isn't this exactly what's happening now? Ancient prejudices, hidden traumas, collective wounds, they're all being exposed, not to destroy us, but to heal us. You can't heal what you won't feel. The 6th trumpet releases 4 angels bound at the river Euphrates, but Euphrates means fruitfulness. It's the river that watered Eden. These aren't angels of destruction. They're angels of restoration, finally free to complete their ancient work. If this resonates with you, join the Sacred Horizon community. Subscribe for more insights that bridge ancient wisdom with modern awakening. The 6th trumpet also mentions an army of 200 million. In John's time, that was more people than existed on the entire earth. This isn't a literal army, it's symbolic. It represents the awakening of human consciousness on a scale never before seen in history. We're living in the age of the 6th trumpet right now. More people are spiritually awakening than ever before. The old systems that kept consciousness asleep are crumbling, and humanity is remembering who we really are. Section 3. The Silence Before the Song. But it's the 7th trumpet that holds the greatest mystery of all. When it sounds, Revelation tells us there are loud voices in heaven proclaiming that the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdom of God. Not through conquest, but through transformation. The 7th trumpet doesn't bring an ending, it brings a completion. The word used is tetelestai, the same word Jesus spoke on the cross. It is finished, not destroyed, but fulfilled. Here's what most interpretations miss. The 7th trumpet doesn't sound once, it keeps sounding. In the original Greek, it's a continuous action. The awakening it represents isn't a single moment, but an ongoing reality. This trumpet is sounding right now in this moment as you listen to these words. It sounds every time someone chooses love over fear, unity over division, truth over illusion. The apocalypse isn't coming, it's happening. The word apocalypse means unveiling or revelation. What's being unveiled isn't destruction, but the truth of who we've always been beneath the illusions. Section 4. Tuning your heart to hear. So how do you tune your heart to hear these trumpet calls in your own life? First, remember that every crisis in your life is actually a trumpet call, an invitation to let go of what no longer serves and step into a higher version of yourself. Second, pay attention to what's being exposed in the world around you. The shadows rising to the surface aren't signs of failure, they're signs of healing. Darkness must be seen before it can be transformed. Third, join the awakening. You're part of that 200 million strong army of consciousness. Your spiritual growth isn't just personal, it's part of humanity's collective evolution. And finally, listen for the seventh trumpet in the moments of deepest peace and recognition. It sounds when you remember that you are loved beyond measure, when you feel the unity that connects all things, when you know without doubt that everything is working together for good. The ancient trumpets aren't warnings of what's coming, they're invitations to what's already here. The kingdom of heaven isn't a place you go to when you die, it's a state of consciousness you can access right now. Conclusion. So let's recap what we've discovered together tonight. The apocalypse trumpets aren't instruments of fear, but symphonies of transformation. They mark the stages of humanity's greatest awakening. The shadows being exposed aren't signs of doom, but invitations to healing. And the kingdom they herald isn't coming someday. It's here now, waiting for you to recognize it. The question isn't whether you'll hear the trumpets, you already are. The question is, how will you respond to their call? Will you let them awaken you to the love you are, the unity you're part of, and the kingdom you carry within your very being? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mystery. May you hear the gentle trumpets calling you home to who you've always been.